What's going on? My name is Dexter Thomas, and I'm a correspondent for Vice News, and here for another session of Receiver. So, in case you're just joining the stream and you're wondering what the heck this is your first time seeing it. Basically, the backdrop is we are living through pretty strange times, but we're, all in the same boat together. And this series that we're doing right now, which is the fifth time for Receiver, is we're just hitting up different artists from all over the world, checking with them, seeing what they've been up to, what they've been working on musically, and just having a conversation. So for this time, fifth installment, we got Quelle and Chris, fresh off the release of Innocent Country 2. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right. How you doing, Dex?
I'm living. I mean, I don't have the gold backdrop like you do, but
Yeah,
I'm doing
but
my
dig it,
best.
Dex. Dig it. This is the best part, Dex. I find myself doing the old person lean, like as if I leaned in more, you would hear me better. How you doing, Dex? Hey, Dex. How's it going over there at Vice News?
Just yell louder, and the internet connection will get better.
Hey, Dex.
But yo,
Yeah,
man, so
no,
you,
I'm doing all right.
yeah, so you just dropped Innocent Country 2. So
Yeah, yeah.
let's get into the music first off.
Mm-hmm,
And we'll
mm-hmm.
hear a live thing. I know you got a performance set up. You'll be doing
Yes, I do.
from one
Yes,
of the
I
songs
do.
in just a second. But take me through deciding to do a follow-up, right? A sequel to a record
Yeah.
that dropped a few years back.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a little fangirl speech on myself, but like a little a little fanning out, and
Do
basically
it.
like, so the Too Dark for TV series started with DiBiase, producer, L.A. beautiful spirit, amazing musician. And from there, it kind of turned into a series where at any time that I was working an album that was primarily produced by one single entity,
Mm,
I would specify it as a tutor for TV. So with all of them, there's always been talks of revisiting.
mm,
But started a very big undertaking of a project, as I tend to do, and the most the most recent one being the
mm,
project that hopefully will be the next project if we all survive, or don't get eaten by ravaged privilegeites. And I made that one up, privilegeites. um but in the process of working on that, I was out in Oakland, and out
mm.
there with my brother Chris Keys, who was is the artist that also is the other artist whose name is on this project. And um and so we got to working on some songs, and it from there, the rest of the album is extremely uh, serendipitous in the way that it was made. All the moments, all the features, everything that kind of happened just somewhat happened. So like the song started before we knew the album was happening. But as I was listening back through the songs back here at home in Brooklyn,
Mm.
it was kind of that, did we just become best friends moment, from Step Brothers, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this album's happening, and this other one's going to have to wait, because the other one was quite an undertaking as it is anyway. Yeah. And
So,
yeah, it just created itself from there.
mm. The
I let the
last
spirits
record,
guide me.
the last one, or not the last one, because you made stuff since then. But if I'm to think of these as the sequels that they are, the sequel to Innocent Country, that one was
Hmm.
kind of, I mean, even the name, right, Innocent Country, it was like, this is what's wrong with y'all.
Yeah.
This is what's
Yeah.
wrong with the country.
Well,
What's
yeah, it
this?
was this. It was a us. It wasn't as much y'all.
Mm,
It was definitely a
okay.
us. Because if you've happened to listen to Innocent Country One, or if you want to take some time to gander into that world, the album also talks about a lot of my shortcomings and how they repeat themselves and repeat themselves and repeat themselves.
Hmm.
It was kind of hopeless. It was a hopeless album. An
Mm,
album just about how it doesn't matter. This idea that there's a utopia, and one day all the races will hold hands and hang out and shit, and everybody will stop warring, and people will stop fighting, and sickos will stop being sickos, and so on and so forth. It's just not going to happen. Maybe it's the Libra in me, but I always believe there's a 50-50 to everything. Or maybe not a 50-50. Sometimes the weight is scaled other ways, but ultimately, there's always going to be fucked up shit.
mm,
So the thought process behind that name. It was this idea that we all put on these airs, and we're always finding villains, and uh, rarely addressing our own inner villain. You know,
mm,
you know.
mm.
And
So
then
how
this
would
one,
you?
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's where I'm going with it. Is
Yeah.
how would you then? Because this one feels different though.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. This one is it's definitely more in the air of shit's fucked up, but you can do things. You can find light, you can create light, you could recenter where your focus is, if only but
Mm,
for a moment at a time, but those times are are just as important as the bad times per se.
mm.
The sucky part is the way that our brains work. Is that we like to hold on to the bad times. Those bad
Yeah,
times
man.
stick with you. Mm,
That is that. That is usually the stuff that sticks with you,
boy, do we like those bad times? Yeah.
man, man. But yo,
Bad times
so
stick with you so heavy. Bad times stick with you so heavy that
mm,
a lot of people's brains just have to force them to forget them. Like, just get that up. You know what I mean? That's how crazy bad times are. So this album is about maybe trying to find a little light within the perpetual darkness that is life. That's the most goth thing I'll say right now. But yeah,
I mean,
hmm
you picked an
yeah,
interesting time to find the light in the darkness, right?
yeah. Beautiful, right? Isn't that the irony? Isn't that the irony? Murphy's
Would
law.
you would you say there's a particular lyric? Because I could think of some stuff, but is there a particular part or lyric in the project that stands out for you that encapsulates that for you?
A lyric. I would definitely say there's songs like "Honest," the
Mm,
opening song, which is about me breaking up with the world. It's me addressing addressing the world directly and the country directly. You know, and so that song in particular is very important because there's again, not to beat a dead horse, but there's always going to be a pile of crap, uh,
mm,
a front, um, and so that album was me, or that song, the opening to the album, "Honest," is really just kind of about just kind of being like, okay, all right, enough. I could sit here and spend the rest of my life wallowing and hoping that there's going to be some sort of hope or some sort of savior that's just going to come in and make everything okay. And, Trump's going to be gone and this and everybody, and the aliens are going to come down and serve cake to everybody. But, I mean, the reality is, unless you take some time to find that peace within yourself and you know figure out how to find peace in other ways, then
mm,
you're gonna be stuck in it. So I had to break up with the world as it was and create my own. So I think that's a really
mm,
important one. Yeah, another
mm,
very
mm.
important one would be Horizon, which is a song that I'm doing today.
Yo, yeah. I mean, so we should just get into that. So, for everybody just joining, got Quelle Chris on, and this is Receiver, and
This is
got a
Receiver.
track off the latest record, and yeah, let's hear it, man.
Let's hear it. This is Horizon. Everybody. Word, word, word. Look, well, in my younger days, I used to be a drag. I ball out all RPGs and Apple Jacks. Still to this day, are outfits that ain't got to match. A gang of lady friends that I ain't had to smash. My shoulders still feel like boulders from recoil. Shit was madness, he had to rehash. Then tried to recoup the coup just to rehash. Love Quelle with them same okie dose again. Been running phones since some brag Nokias was saying. Been catching messages from the incest and said don't set yourself to repeat. Repeat, low peaks, top shelf, bell bonds, back seats, surf sports, low weight, no keeps, black fade, crack J, repeat, that's a repeat. Repeat, repeat, low peaks, top shelf, bell bonds, back seats, surf sport, low weight, no keeps, black fade, crack J, repeat. Woo, repeat, repeat. Don't repeat, look, yo. Talking about feedback, echoes. Gotta let it in, let it go. Stop. Okay, look, used to try to skate around, tiptoe. How you lie to yourself? Can't, bro. Achilles heel, head, hearts to the ankle. Trying to turn these bad thoughts into bankrolls. Look, I've been about that me and my Ricky Lake hosted. They ain't really let me in, just left the gate open. Hard you gotta see yourself, you wanna be yourself. Your perceptions and reflections hardly eye to eye. On level shelf, caught that message from somebody else. Just be my nigga, this ain't overnight, the scope of life. It's plenty bigger, ain't got time for riding on your bike. Don't have a nigga stuck on repeat. Repeat, low peaks, top shelf, bell bonds, back seats, surf sports, low weight, no keeps, black fade, crack J, repeat, talking repeat, 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 no peaks, top shelf, bell bonds, back seats, surf sports, low weight, no keeps, black fade, crack J, talking repeat, repeat. repeat, 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 repeat. Look, talking about feedbacks. Let go. Look, times you gotta let it in. Let go. Don't just try to see the win. Be the win. Don't just try to see the win. Be the win. You knew better. You do better. Word of Moselle. Shout out Dane. Shout out Chris Keys on the production.
Yo,
Boom.
yo, woo. Okay,
Woo.
we are still here once again. I'm Dexter, but you're here to see Quelle. Chris,
Yes,
who
yes.
just performed Horizon. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
That's a wild track. And so also, I definitely got to say, speaking of plugging, that we're also taking questions, man. If you're in the
Oh.
live stream, if you're in the YouTube, if you're in the Facebook, we're taking
Mm.
questions. So throw them in there. We'll sift through them, take some
Mm.
good ones, throw it at them. But while while I still have the floor,
Oh.
can we run through some of that, man? Because there's a lot. There is a lot in Horizon. I mean,
Yeah.
trying to turn the bank bad thoughts into bankroll. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Come on.
yeah. Used to try to skate around, tiptoe. How you lie to yourself? You can't, bro. Achilles heel had hearts to the ankles, trying to turn these bad thoughts into bankrolls. The whole, starving artist shit. But yeah, no, this is a very important song, and it was actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably one of the first ones I started writing, if not the first one for the album.
Mm,
Um, and it was a slow creeper for me because became my favorite song towards the end.
mm,
But you know, think of anything. I know there's a good portion of my career that's summed up by a lot of listeners as constantly changing, per se, sound wise, um, music wise,
mm,
uh, feelings. What spells I'm casting. It's something that's always changing. And
mm,
this song is a kind of it's probably the closest to a song in theme to Innocent Country One because it's about that idea of it doesn't matter how much you try to break. There's those habits that you just always find yourself falling back into, and a lot of times
mm,
we're very eager to submit ourselves to them. And
mm,
this song and this album being about seeking change. This song was about finding making sure you don't repeat
mm,
those same things over and over, because if you keep doing that, you're gonna do it again. It's all about feedback, echoes. You got to listen to
yeah,
people. Those around you. A lot of times we're far too stubborn to accept that we just may be being a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Which is okay. Everybody's a piece of shit sometimes. So, but we don't
mm,
we don't like to admit that. So feedback, echoes. When the ancestors or wherever you want to deja vu, wherever you find these kind of ideas. But we do so many things that we see the direct
mm,
effect. You know what I mean? You got to listen for that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to let it in and let go. That kind of speaks for itself and in the volumes that it speaks. And then don't just try to see the win. You gotta be the win. So it's just like it's a song about cutting that shit out. That's the other name. That's the name that the song could have been called. It could have been called "Cutting That Shit Out" by Quelle Chris, but it's called Horizon though.
Yo, I mean, you know what hit me though? What line really hit
Yeah.
me is you got to see yourself, right?
Hmm.
That one. It's hard. You got to
Yeah.
see yourself,
Sometimes.
be yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. You gotta see yourself. You want to be yourself, but reflections and
Mm.
perceptions hardly eye to eye on level shelf. Yeah. Yeah.
I
What
mean,
you what you what you what you see and I'm telling you. I'm not. I, I've definitely had my silly moments in life. I continue to rack up a few here and there whenever I allow myself the opportunity to do so. But there's a large portion of my life, maybe a lot of folks can relate, that you know, you think you're killing the game. You think you're
Mm.
killing the game. You know what I mean? Like think about like I notice it happens a lot of times in relationships. You're like, yo, I'm nailing it, and then like one night you guys get into an argument, and it's like, you ain't nailing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it's so yeah, and it goes back again, not to hark on that idea that um, not just taking note of how you see yourself, but also realizing the effect of that what you're doing is having on those around you, on the environment around you, or on the greater picture. But also
Mm.
being able to some extent, accept realities, and also, to the same extent, bend them or change them as you see fit, or as you need to. So, yeah, no, that's very important. Yeah, sometimes you gotta
Yeah,
see yourself. You want to be yourself. You can't, boy, you can't help nobody until you can figure out how to help yourself. I swear to God, you could put some band-aids on some people. You could do some things, you could help out here and there.
mhm,
You could mow some lawns, you could whatever, but you
yeah.
know, but I tell you, what I mean, until you,
You
until
can't see
you,
yourself. That
yo,
that's real, man.
you can't see
It's a
nobody else.
yeah. Well, it's a real thing now, especially because we're all hopefully y'all watching this. Hopefully you're inside, unless you're not, unless you have a reason to not be outside. But we're
Hmm.
inside now, man, and so you're by yourself. A lot of people, or maybe by a
Yeah,
select group of people. Um, but that's why that hit me is because are you are you really paying attention to yourself? Are you seeing yourself? You know what I mean? And I feel like
right.
it's a really relevant conversation to be happening, while we're in quarantine is, are you spending this time really,
Yeah,
really kind of being introspective? And I mean, with
right.
with that, I mean, how is quarantine going for you, man?
Oh, it sucks, but I mean, it sucks for a lot of different reasons. The
Mm,
idea of being inside for a indefinite and possibly eternal amount of time doesn't really bother me.
mm,
I'm a workhorse, so I spend a lot of my
okay.
time. I spend a lot of my time inside. I'm not gonna sit here and try to take introvert credits. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody. Yeah, I'm not trying to. I got to show respect for the true introverts out there. But
Mm,
I am a homeboy. As we used to call a next door neighbor of mine when we were coming up in New York. We used to call her homegirl because she ain't never leave the house. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I'm a homeboy, and when I show up to a show, I'm usually standing outside smoking. So I'm never really there, but I'm always here. You know what I'm saying? So there's that aspect that doesn't necessarily change for me, but then
Mm,
there's the when you're someone, especially me, that spends so much time working from home, and I know even folks that work, in all different other mediums, not having those moments of escape definitely wears on you. And especially when those moments of escape are one of your main means of income. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough thing for anyone to bear.
yeah. I mean, shoot, just you drop an album, you go tour.
You
That's the
drop an
rhythm, right?
album. That's the rhythm. That's the rhythm for them that are lucky enough to do so. Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, you drop an album, you go tour. You drop an album, and Lord willing, whoever the fuck you think Lord is, or whoever Lord is, you know, uh,
mm,
Kermit the Frog willing, you're able to get out there and and really exchange that energy, because it's really a special thing. It's
mm,
special on a human level. It's special on a personal growth level. It's special if you're doing it right and you're bringing the right things out there into the world. It's special from the receiver and
mm.
then it's special for the bank account, because niggas got to eat, right?
You ain't lying.
Everybody gotta eat
Hey,
sometimes. Yeah.
well, yo, so
Hmm.
where if you're just now tuning in, we're with Quelle Chris for
Yeah.
receiver. Um, Horizon a little bit ago. We're chopping it up about the record right now. And
Innocent
speaking of
Country
which,
too.
we're getting Instant Country too. So we're getting some questions in. By the way, feel free to jump in into the live stream, to the
Right
chat
on.
on YouTube or on Facebook. So I know we got a question here. This one's from Joseph. Wants to know, do you remember the first song you ever wrote, and what was it?
Ooh, boy, I do not remember the first song I ever wrote, but I do remember some gems from some different ones. We used to, but like a lot of my early writing was like me and the homies, like me and my homie Black Myth. We used to like when we couldn't like take the time to battle each other or to rap in person between classes, we would just pass each other battle verses about each other. You know what I mean? So it'd be like, yo, read this shit,
Beat
and then
this
you just be
each other
sitting in
out.
class. Yeah, you be sitting in class dying like, yo, he got okay, cool. And by the next class, you gotta have one pinned up that's gonna kill him. But but yeah, no, we used to we started off doing a lot of silly songs. I don't remember, I had a lot of them. I had a lot of them. I had a really good one about making a porn movie before I had ever made any sort of porn videotape. So there was a lot of braggadocio coming out too. But you gotta assume I started writing and recording like normal times. I mean, normal times for me, around like 11, you know,
Mm.
12. Yeah, you talk about a lot of dumb stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? You listening to nothing but fly folks, you know what I mean? So you talking about a lot of shit you can't do. And my favorite thing about it is everybody rides with it, cuz you talk about like, hitting the club, rolling out, there's a lot of folks that had that lifestyle going on heavier, 10, 11, 12. But I can't say that we was driving at 10, 11, 12, because wasn't nobody driving at 10, 11, 12. But we was pulling up in whips on songs and whatever. So
Yo,
yeah.
so I mean, this is. I'm getting a couple real good questions right here. Actually, that I'm seeing. I wanna combine a
Yeah.
couple of these. So, Casper is saying one, and I'm seeing also a username. I'm not even gonna try to repeat because I can't. There's too many letters, so I'm not gonna try.
Mm,
But
mm,
I'm gonna combine these. Basically, there's there's a lot of. I've seen this through a lot of your work, and I'm seeing it through here. Is a constant trying to figure out who the hell you are, trying to
mm,
figure out what's happening around you, but also trying to figure out what's happening internally.
mm.
How that that's got to do something to one as an artist, but also on an emotional, personal level. You know what I mean? If you spend so much time digging in rather than just
Yeah.
focusing out, talking about what's outside of you, spend so much time. I mean, I saw that on Buddies. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm definitely feeling it here. How do you how do you work through that?
Well, well, let me. I would like to counterbalance that point by saying I did say one of my first songs was about making a porn movie, and that I got a lot of songs about a lot of dumb stuff. So
Mm,
I counterbalance it in the creative process, of course. So
mm.
it's not all loathing and self journeying. There's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
time just spent barring up, because more than anything, I'm an MC. I love rapping. I love barring up over anything. You know what I'm saying? So but with that said, I do a lot of other things. I make a lot of other types of music, and for what it's worth, I think it's just about being honest about how you feel, and
Mm,
the time. There's the professional side of creation. So there's always a level of this has to be done. I do need to wrap this up into some sort of package at some point, or so on and so forth. But a lot of the creative side of things is just allowing myself to be in whatever mood or whatever feeling that I feel it naturally comes with and feels the best with whatever the song happens to be.
Mm,
So you know, it's not hard to make songs about feeling sad when you feel sad. You know, and in the same breath, I don't think it's hard to make songs about how you truly feel. Uh, in light of it, or lieu of it, possibly not resonating in some way, shape, or form, because you just have to assume there's, for every person, for every me, there's at
mm,
least a good handful of millions of folks that feel damn near exactly the same, and an insurmountable amount of folks that are experiencing or have experienced something like it or something parallel to it. So I just think it's important to just kind of let it pour out. And then there's the self therapy side of it, which I used to kind of lean on a lot. But in my older age, I realized you just probably actually need real therapy. You can't always self diagnose. But yeah, there's always there's always that aspect too, just getting it out, which I think is important. So as far as it being hard, I feel like there was a kind of going back to where you started making music, or where I started making music at that time. At that time, the purpose of making music was different. So you
mm,
would just talk about whatever. A good a good brother of mine and an amazing artist named Big Tone, Anthony Large from Detroit.
mm,
He's got an album out called Big Shoes with house shoes right now. Just check it out. But at one point, I don't remember when he said this to me, but I imagine I was, if anything, late teens. And he said, when you make a song, you know, you have to remember that it has the potential of one to exist forever, which I think is a very surface thing, but it's a fact. And then there's also just the idea of time and the perception of time and how we grow and change over time. And when you have these certain timestamps, he said, always think about what you're saying, because someone's gonna remember you as that person forever. There's someone that might
mm,
hear me do a song where I'm like, Nazi love or something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the last thing they heard from me. I might have made that when I was, 17, 16. Who knows?
mm.
Not, don't go looking for my Nazi love song. I ain't got a Nazi love song. But, like I might, so like, right. So, but that, right. So when you think about it that way, though, it's really important to think about what energies and what messages you're putting out into the world. And I'm not saying there's not a room and a time and space for almost everything, for a lot of things. But
Mm,
I think I also find a lot of ease in just being like, if anything, I know if I make this song and this is how I feel, I can never look back and regret it, because I know, it came from a real place, and it wasn't just
mm,
me trying to perpetuate anything. I want to be able to always look back at my catalog of music and with a certain level of pride, and with a certain level of humility, to know that there was things that I felt at some point that have changed, but at least to be able to see the growth. So I think once I kind of found out that, once I figured that out, it wasn't as hard to make those songs or to tap into it, because you know such a fucking cliche, but it's bigger than just me.
mm, mm. I want to so we're gonna get into some more of that, but I want to remind people again,
Yeah,
if you're just jumping on, we're on with Quelle Chris, this receiver, and also if you're watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook, I encourage you to throw in some questions. We're trying to get in some questions from the audience,
yeah,
but I want to jump in right now, which is some real quick rapid fire stuff, just back to
yeah.
back. First answer that comes to your head. If we feel like we need to get back to it, we can. But we're gonna go real quick. So off the cuff, there we go. All right. So first one. Since quarantine, what's something that you've stopped doing?
Going outside.
All right,
What the
playing it down the
fuck?
middle.
What
Okay.
the what the fuck? What you think?
No,
That's,
you answer this however you want, man. What's something you
nah, I'm
started doing?
playing.
What's something you
Oh, worrying about the future. Yeah, I'm not
what
gonna lie
is
to you. I was mad secure before this shit. I was like, oh, it is on. And then I started
what
worrying
is
about the future.
right now, what is your biggest recommendation for anybody? It could be music, it could be anything.
Just stop being. Don't be a terrible person and think about others. You know what I mean? And on the grander scale of not spreading, et cetera, et cetera. But also just on a tighter scale. If you're in a household with other people, don't be the dick. Don't be the dick. Spread some love.
All right, what in what room of the house would you want people to listen to your album?
The roof.
The roof.
The
I thought
roof.
you said don't go outside.
ah.
See, I got you. I
Mm,
got you. See?
See, what I was talking about was the roof of your mind. See, you thinking here, we thinking here. Uh huh.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Next one. Ideal feature on a track. You can get anybody. Ideal feature.
Uh-uh. Oh, my stunt work would be like I've worked with pretty much everyone I've ever want to work with, but um, I would always like to do something with Johnny Greenwood. You know what I mean? I like his sound. I like his sound
Okay.
from Radiohead. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the last
He's
dream?
got amazing rhythms and amazing arrangements, and you can always tell his addition to a song. It's a certain texture that I enjoy.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. What is Ooh, okay. All right. I'm seeing some extra questions come in. What's the last dream you remember?
Oh God, the funny thing is I'm a dream chaser. I'm a dream hunter, and I could get off into this forever. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I've turned my dreams off for a second. You know what I mean? And I've just been working my little arse off. My little arse off. Actually, I got a big round arse. I got a nice arse. I've been working my nice round arse off. So sleep has come far and few between, and when it does come on, and if a dream starts to turn on, I'm like, no, not not right now. I'm just trying to rest. Um,
What
but
is what is the
you know,
Oh, go ahead.
no,
This
go
this
ahead.
lag is killing.
Hmm.
What is the most useless or useful skill you picked up since staying inside?
Oh, since staying inside.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
oh wow. Putting on gloves without snapping them. You know what I mean? Just putting them on without breaking. Cause listen, you have a few different types of gloves. You have the ones that are what is it? Somewhat powdered inside. Is that what it is? Is it powdered inside? I don't know. And then you have the ones that you have to inch on like a pair of like a pair of Velcro stockings. You know what I'm saying? Like you just have to.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It gets caught on everything, like the cord from some AirPods. You know what I'm saying? Like it just gets caught on every surface. So a lot of times if you're just on the move, if you're just trying to, you got an Amazon showing up, or you got something dropping on your doorstep. You just want to throw them on real quick, but you can never just throw them on like that. So I'm getting better at just like I'm almost at the point that I could throw a pair up and just shit just drop right on my hands. Yeah.
wow. Okay, so is that going to show up in a music video or a visual project anytime soon? Just
Nah,
flex
the
that
game.
skill on the.
The game is to be sold, not to be told. True. Yeah. Masterpiece, Silk the Shocker, and C Murder. Yep.
That was a legendary moment in history, man.
Yeah.
That is the statement. Speaking of something somewhat related to that, actually,
Yeah.
can we talk about, and once again, we're on with Quelle and Chris, speaking about the record, Innocent Country 2. Uh, can we talk about Bottle Black Business or bot? Not
Bottle
messing up the
Black
title.
Power by the business. Bottle Black
Power
Power by the business.
Business. So
Yeah.
we talk about
Shit.
that one because that's
Mm.
a heavy record. That is a
Yeah,
heavy song.
it's a beautiful
I
one,
mean,
right? That was also an early one too. That was an early jam too.
okay. What? You copped
Hmm.
you an outfit, stay protesting for pictures? Come on, man.
Oh, you cops you in office stay protesting
Yeah.
for the pictures. Yeah. Yeah,
Tell me about
you be on Tinder playing Horace Riley to some mistress. She don't let you hit. She go from queen to hoe to business. And there's a lot of lines in there that are taking low jabs at the general aspect of hoe tapping, as we call it. But like honestly, it boils down to so much more than that. You know what I mean? It's just you remember when we was young and they tried to make Ebonics like a thing? And they were like, everyone's speaking Ebonics, you know what I mean?
I,
Ebonics, the new slang is not, they're not real words, it's a new dialect. And then now everybody's on Twitter basically speaking Ebonics, you know what I mean? Um,
mm-hmm,
it's the idea that a lot of things that uh, people of color bring to this world don't usually are usually demonized and are
mm-hmm,
trivialized or animalized until they're beneficial to the pocketbooks of the greater. So
mm-hmm,
and then then that trickle down is just kind of seen in human nature throughout. People don't really care about something until they can benefit from it or until it's affecting them directly. And there's a lot of people that are willing to take advantage of existing narratives for
mm-hmm.
negative and sometimes for positive, or a lot of times for positive as well. Don't let me be. I don't want to be a negative Norman, but but that's what the song is about. It's just about that idea that there's a magic. There's a magic among us, and for every legit magician, there's side hustle illusionist, and for every magician and side hustle illusionist, there's a manager in the lurkings trying to capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this it's especially that one really encapsulates it for me. But
Yeah,
it's a country too for me. This is a really, not to say that your other ones aren't. This is a really black record.
it's very black. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
extra
that's
black. And this one
yeah,
really hits it for me because, again, I mean,
mm,
it's not a you're not talking necessarily to the outside all the time. You're speaking to people who feel like, yes, we're in the community. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
some of that feels like, you know what, I differ with you in some
hmm,
ways that your, what you call activism, what you
right,
call consciousness, um, you might need to rethink that. And that line that you have specifically with, here's how you speak to women,
hmm,
that for me, that really hit that for me.
right, yeah, yeah. Which yeah, that's a huge aspect of it, but it's and it's all good God if it's not all mighty important and not all very deeply drilled into the what was that the architecture of our being at this point.
Mm,
But it's the thing is the song in and of itself is to address that, but also to kind of bundle it up in a little baloney and hand you the pill so that you can maybe catch a little self awareness, and at the same time have a little internal party too. you, you can fix yourself and fix a drink at the same time. Yeah.
uh, uh, what, yo, what's the most? I mean, I've talked to a lot of different artists who were speaking. We got time now, and so we're communicating
Right.
with each other in ways we might not have in the past. Um, have you gotten any interesting messages or had any interesting conversations with a fan about this most recent record?
Um, I don't. That's an I mean, that's an interesting question. I think I've just had a lot of amazing exchanges with people, throughout the process of this coming out and post it coming out. It's been very very beautiful. I think outside of fandom, as a fan, it's been very beautiful to talk to Chris Keys, who produced
Mm,
the album, and so much more. Played all damn near all the instruments on the album. Um, uh, to be able to talk to him, and to be able to see how much it's helped us, the process of making this album, how much we've grown. But as far as in talking to fans, it's just everyone. It's just been nonstop love. But I can't really say that I've had a conversation that I would call interesting. Just
mm.
a lot of really good conversations with people. People have said it's helped them through things. Some people have said that they didn't really like it that much, and all those conversations are entertaining and informative in their own different ways. Yeah,
I've actually seen a lot of that comment. I'm doing something which they tell you not to do, which is read the YouTube comments.
yeah.
Um, but
You
but I've
always
done
gotta
that.
read them.
I've done that. And speaking of comments, if you would like to make comments, feel free, y'all. On the YouTube live stream, we're here with Quelle Chris for another few minutes, and on YouTube, feel free to throw in some questions if you like. Get one last one in. But on the
One last
sudden
one,
death
yeah.
one, man, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen
Yeah,
a lot of it's made me really think differently about something. And
yeah,
it's different in this time. I feel like sudden death
yeah.
definitely hits differently now.
Yeah, that this whole dang album, who would have thought how much it would have spoken? Because it spoke pretty well to the time when it was being made, but it's something about
Mm,
the way it resonates now, as including sudden death specifically, because you figure like at the time, it was just a feeling, There's always stress going on. There's so much going on, and what's
there's gonna
that?
be some people. There's gonna be some people who haven't heard this track. So if you could even encapsulate that or tell me a couple bars off that, so people know what the song is
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, so yeah, sudden death. It's a song about accepting and not giving up hope while accepting. But it starts off. It must not seem like sudden death. You must feel like much time is left. Some first times first come second best. It's just you make the most from what is less. But life ain't perfect. There ain't no get backs or replays, and it continues with this. But then as it gets towards the end, after all that kind of downing, it goes, but it can all be all sudden death. We're so much different than the rest. Just clear that desktop, start fresh, you know. So the idea is that things are gonna be terrible, but it is not all terrible. There's usually some sort of light, and when there's not, you might be able to hold out until there's enough. And if you feel you got to break down and let it go and cry or fall apart for a second, sometimes you gotta fall apart. Um, but yeah, it's a song that yeah, there's no way. Even just the ironies of the music video and kind of being surrounded by nothing but dead people. This idea was was conceptualized far before we knew that the outside would, in some way, shape, or form, be dead. To us,
Mm, mm.
and we'd be
Yeah, and
surrounded by so much literal death.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, I'll listen to that. I'm thinking, man, I don't know why. I don't know if this is a weird association, but thinking about, man, all those times when I thought, I'll go out. I'm not gonna go outside tonight. I don't know. It's Friday. My friends are asking me to go out. I'm just gonna chill inside. I can go out some other time.
right.
I'm regretting that now. I think
You're
everybody's
regretting
feeling.
them. You're regretting them. Yeah. Yeah,
I should
yeah. You know, I was about to
die.
this year was gonna be my year. I'm telling you, Dex, this year I was about to be jet setting. I was gonna be in every state. I was just gonna be hanging out with everyone, working on music, getting out there. You know what I mean? I was gonna be at the Grammys. I was gonna be at the BET Awards now. But but real talk, yeah, no, this was gonna be my year that I really wanted to get out there and be out there a lot more. And it goes to say that a lot of times my music, I end up leaving myself little messages from the past that are also from the future. And in this case, again, I had left a little joke on my doorstep for myself, you know. But I do think it's a very beautiful song, and I just really it as much healing as it brought me when I made it. It was the first song that I sent to my wife in the process of making the album. I was like, "You just got to hear this. I'm telling you this." I cried. I cried so many times listening to that song. It took a while before I wasn't crying listening to it. So,
Mm.
so I can only imagine, the way that it's touching others. But if it's even a fraction of the way that it touched me when it was when we made it, then that's really all I can ask for, you know.
Mm, mm, mm.
And a
All right.
million
Well,
dollars.
there it is. Quite Chris, thank you so much for joining us here on the stream. This has been brilliant. Um,
Yes.
any parting words? Anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here?
Um. Uh. Stay safe. Stay strong.
Mm,
Support. Support in ways that you can. That are healthy and safe. Support your musicians because we are all out here still bringing it to y'all. And just stay loving, stay free. Go out, get Innocent Country 2. It's out right now on Mellow Music Group. Shout out Vibe Music Collective. Shout out Kiki. Shout out Nay. Shout out Kedra. Shout out yeah, I was about to just hit you with the whole radio thing. Shout out Lil Earl. Shout out Left Foot Kim. Shout out Right Foot Kim. Um once we get out of quarantine, we gonna party, bitches.
What are you doing first, though? What's your
It's
first move in
on.
this? What's your first move? What's your first move?
Have someone else make me some food. Have someone else make us some food. You know what I mean? Me and Jean, we don't play around. Jean is a master chef. My wife Jean, but go somewhere and have someone else make us some food. Step
I feel
one.
that. All right. On that note, Quiet, thank you so much for joining. Everybody, thanks so much for joining the chat. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And
Love y'all.
we'll be back